a presentation, and I've just opened it up for the next 2 weeks to invite you to keep this time slot, and if we want to meet in here and just have informal chat, any questions, or even just go through some case scenarios, because I've got lots of case scenarios that I get emails all the time with requesting support for Moodle, and so what should we do with that information to effectively service our skills teams? Okay, so I will just share the presentation. This is about enrolment into Moodle. How do you set up your course so that you can allow your students to gain access? So I have also loaded all of these presentations into the Moodle capability program in iTAFE. Can everybody see that screen?
Yes.
Great. And fabulous, thank you. And of course, we're looking at the North Coast versions, Moodle 3.1 and 3.5. So they do look a little bit different. Okay, so with iTAFE, which is Moodle 3.1, it is sitting outside of our student management system, so it requires the students to create an account. So they need to self-register, and you can see in this image here, when you Google iTAFE and click on the link that takes you to this page, underneath the login area you can see self-register. So you need to create a username and a password, and we recommend to use your first dot last name, and then of course a password that you would remember. So it's funny, we were having that conversation earlier about trying to work out how to get into iTAFE, and perhaps putting a post-it note on your monitor screen or somewhere near your desk to remind you. But however, you can also do a reset, forget your password, and do that via your email account. Okay, so the self-enrollment instructions are sent out to the students with a link to the course and an access key. So once you've set your course access keys up, you can send an email to your students with the access key and some instructions on how to enroll in the course. Very similar to the instructions that I sent everybody at the beginning of this program, because I just wanted everybody to have that experience of what a student may experience, and to try and demonstrate best practice as well. And I'll show you whereabouts you can find just the standard template that you can use to copy and paste and just send standardized instructions. Okay, so the student clicks on the link. Actually, I'm going to enable my little laser pointer. I only discovered this one. Can everybody see my laser pointer here? That's good. So once your student receives email instruction and a link, they'll be taken to the enrollment page, and they put the access key in here, and if they want to check it, they can click on Unmask. This is what it looks like in North Coast Moodle 3.5, and then they click Enroll Me. Once they are enrolled, they will enroll just in the course, and then any units that you have linked into that course, they will need to complete that one-off step by going into each unit and entering that same access key, if that is the access key that was set up. For I don't know what reason, there may be a different reason why you would give them a different access key to different units, but I would suggest to make it nice and easy and simple. Once your students logged in, they can view their enrolments on their home page, and we've been through that. As a teacher, you may want to view your enrolled students. So who has actually followed those instructions? So once you send that email out, over the course of the week, you might just go in and check to see who has self-enrolled, who's followed the instructions, because you may have sent this out prior to the first day so that they come to class already, and you can see who hasn't logged in. So you might want to send those people an email to say, are you having any difficulties? So I'll go back here. To check who is enrolled, you click on Users here, and then you click on Enrolled Users. And here you will see a whole list of people that are enrolled in the course. So you can, if you are looking for a particular user, you can click on a letter of their first name, or you can click on all, or you can click on this box here and you can filter according to the group they're in or their enrollment status, they're active or inactive. There's lots of things that you can search for there. But here, this is just an image of everybody who is enrolled in the course. And this is what it looks like in iTAFE. However, the filter looks a little bit different. So you can just search here, or you can search for an enrollment method. So we recommend self-enrollment. However, sometimes you can just manually enroll students. You can search via role and by group and like by status, like I mentioned. So here you can also click on the first name and it will reshuffle this list so that it'll come up with alphabetical order of the first name or the email address. Or another great tip here is to click on last access to the course, and you can see who was recently active in the course. So it filters it from most active to least active. And that's really handy when you're monitoring progress for students. Okay, so that is enrollment into a course. Now we're going to look at the use of groups in a course. The use of groups is only handy for the teacher. The students don't really see what's happening. They'll be able to see other students that are in their group. So if you're running group activities like forums and group uploads and things like that, they will only see their only other participants in that group. But we use groups to organise the students within the course for the teachers. So if you've got a unit of competence that is really heavy in traffic, so it's shared a lot, it's really helpful to have groups set up so you can filter and access your group of students that you're currently facilitating for. And so you can conduct assessment and activities by groups. You can also send notifications, and communications can be sent by group. If you don't have groups set up and you want to send a notification, it will go to everybody unless you've got those groups set up. And also you can run reports via group. So how do we set up the groups? First of all, for self-enrollment, we need to create an access key, and then we need to provide that to the student. We've got a naming convention in the North Coast for the naming of students, groups, sorry, and I'll show you an image shortly that will demonstrate why that is so important. It's so the naming convention methodology here is the year, semester, and the location. And then, of course, you can add students manually as well. So you can just slot them into a pre-existing group. So you might do that for latecomers. So you send all of your students an email to start with, and then if you've got any students that start 1 or 2 weeks later, you may just want to set them up and manually enroll them, or you might want to give them the same welcome email. It's sort of up to you. So to access the groups, you need to have a look at your administration block. Once again, click on users, and instead of clicking on enrolled users, you go down to groups. When you click on groups, this page here will appear, and you will see all of the groups that are set up in this particular course. In brackets outside of the group name, you can see here there's 4 members of this group, and when you click on that group, it turns grey and all of those members appear on the right hand side, and you can see what role they're in. You can see that I've got 2 other groups set up here. However, there are no participants in that course yet, so I might have pre-set up that group for a different reason. Underneath the list of groups, you've got another couple of options. So if I want to edit the group settings, I can click on the group settings, I can change the name, or I can even change the access key from that spot. I can delete the group when it's no longer, when the class is finished and you want to archive the student, you can delete the group. It won't delete the enrollment, and it will keep all of the records intact. It would just take away the unused group, because we only keep the active students in groups so that it's easy to organise. I've seen courses that have like over 200 students in them, and they've only got 6 groups running, so it's really quite handy to delete all the old unused groups. To create a group, click on Create Group, and there's an option for importing groups and auto creating groups. Won't go into that today. And you can also manage group membership by clicking on Add Remove Users. So the next screen is about creating the group. Here's your group name, and then your access key here. You can have an ID number. I don't use ID numbers, but there are, if you click on the question mark, it'll tell you why you would need an ID number. And I don't know off the top of my head, but I haven't had the need to use that. When I want to, so here's the screenshot I was telling you about with all of the groups. So you can see there's lots of different groups. This is education support in 2017. You can see the location, so that's Maitland, Glendale. I'm not sure where that one is, but you can see that the teaching staff also have added on the day and also the teacher initial here for quick and easy access. So if you're sharing this course with other teachers, it's really helpful to just have your name your group so that you can easily identify it. And if we start with the number or the year first, it will order it in chronological order. And like I said before, if you click on your group, it will show you the members on the right hand side. And we can see there's lots of people actually enrolled in this course because of the numbers outside of the group names. Okay, so the next screen, I clicked on Add Remove Users, which is this one, because I want to either, say a student has transferred from the Friday class to the Tuesday class because they're outside of TAFE commitments, mean they can't come on their original day and they need to change days for whatever reason. You then click on Add Remove Users, and it will take them to this screen. So we're looking at the membership for this particular group here, which is the Education Support at Newcastle on Monday with JR. and that's Julie Reeves. Okay, so here's the list of participants. There's 13 of them. And here is the list of potential members. So the potential members are only the ones that are enrolled in the course. So if your student hasn't enrolled in the course, they're not going to be a potential member. And it will tell you here how many potential members you've got. So you can click on any one of those and then click add, and then they will move over to this column. Likewise, if you want to take a student out of the group, you highlight the student here and then you click on remove, and then they appear on the other side. So if you've got like 200 people enrolled in this unit or 500 people, you can use the search box below, type in the first name, and it'll automatically update with who your potential members are there. Okay, so to filter, now you've set up your groups and you know you're organised and you've got everything set up, this is the benefit of it. So this is a document upload activity, and you can see here that you can click on separate groups and it'll only bring up the information for that group. So the participants in this group, there's 14 of them. One of those participants has submitted in draft. 6 have submitted altogether out of 14, and none need grading. So it's helpful there to sort your group, and then you can work out who has submitted and who hasn't. You can filter groups in the grader report. So in your course administration block, you can click on grader report and you can filter your team here. The grader report brings up all of the activities that are in your course that you've set up. So only the activities that you add appear in the grader book here. So last week we talked about adding a resource or an activity. So only the activities will populate in your grader book. So sometimes if you've got lots of them, you'll get a scroll bar across the bottom. So you filter your group, and then you can have a look at, in a nutshell, a summary of the whole unit at a glance, what all of your participants, where they're up to. In a forum, you can filter your group here, and in the forum thread, it looks like the group that I set up for this particular course. It's called the Quality Team. So this was the program I ran last year with our team in North Region. So you can see which group those participants are actually at. You can also select here all participants, add a new discussion topic, and you can message everybody in the whole course if you want to. But if you're sharing a unit, that would not be probably what we would do. Okay, so that is the end of that presentation. So you can see the benefits of using groups. And now that we're in the second round of the implementing the Skills Points product, the new course improvement is to add groups so that you can also add, you can filter information. So if you add a label to a course with some information, say it's contact details about a particular group of teachers, you can isolate that information to that particular group. So Skills Points have enabled groups in the Skills Points product. So it is something that we need to be familiar with and across, because we need, when we're supporting teachers in the new Skills Points Moodle products, if there is lots of locations sharing that one course or that one unit, there will be multiple labels set up, and those labels will be allocated to locations or groups. And so from a teaching perspective, the page might look quite confusing. But from a student perspective, if you're that student in that particular group, you're only going to see those details. So yeah, really important to understand that. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go to the Moodle Capability Program and just have a little look at the resources that are in the Implement tab in Moodle in iTafe. Can everybody see that? If anyone could just pop in the chat pod when you can see it or yell out. Awesome, thanks Karen.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, so in the Implement tab, we've got, I put in a South Region resource here. It's create a group and add users. So that was a really good resource. I'll let you sort of go in and have a little look at this. I'll go into the welcome email template. So there are two templates here. And the reason that there are two templates, so that loaded a little bit later for you, Romani. It must have to do with your location. Sometimes things load a lot slower for me here in Belmont too. The reason that I've got two templates is because, as we mentioned before, iTafe sits outside of the student management system. So there is an extra step in the welcome email, which is to create an account. If I click on the welcome email for North Coast Moodle, it actually generates the email. There it is. And there's some instruction for the email. So you just delete all of that instruction, choose a banner. I'll go the pink. Whoops, banner didn't move up. Okay, and then you've got your standardized instructions below. So all you have to do is enter the link to your course here. You pop your course code and name there, and whatever key you set up here, and then you type in your student email and click send, and away they go. So that's just a helpful resource, so that it just makes it easy for you, so that you're not searching back for, you know, welcome emails. If you can create a standard email, then your students are getting a consistent experience. It's easy for you to show another teacher how things are done if they're brand new to the platform. So just helpful tools. Okay, click continue, and then activity 6. Okay, so in your sandpit, you need to go to your administration tab, click on enrollment methods, and you need to activate the self-enrollment method. I will click here. I've just gone into Janaea's sandpit. Hope you don't mind, Janaea. And to look at enrollment methods, I've clicked on enrolled users on the right-hand side, and enrolled methods sits in between enrolled users and groups. So I'll click on enrollment methods. Pretty much the same as everybody else, Phil. Okay, so here we have manual enrollment, guest access, and self-enrollment. So we're looking at what these icons are looking like here. In the guest access, we have it's default. Guest access means that you can give somebody access to the course without them even being enrolled in it. So our staff toolkit and our student toolkit and a few other courses, they are simply guest access, so that you can just give someone a link and they can go straight in. When you've enabled guest access, you can't run any activities though. They can't interact, they can't participate in a quiz or a forum or a document upload. So we make sure we lock that down. Sometimes with a brand new course, the self-enrollment may be disabled, so you enable that by just clicking on the I. And then we need to click on enrollment method. So what we're doing here is we are allowing existing enrollments. We are using the group keys, yes. So we need to actually put a key in here. So you could put a standard key in, or you could just put what this key does. It's a bit hard to explain this, but it enables self-enrollment through the keys. So if you're going to use groups through your course, you can just stick any jumble in there, and then you click OK. You could also pop in a welcome message to your students if you like. So welcome to the course. Please familiarise yourself, have a look at the overview tab, read the unit assessment guide, accept the terms and conditions, whatever it is that you want them to do. I don't have anything here. You've also got to make sure that this is ticked to so that it sends it. And so that's quite nice. And all right, we're all ready to go. So if I click on...
Excuse me, Leslie.
Yes.
It's Karen here.
Okay.
Hello. Just a quick question. I noticed with the self-enrollment form you were just in, it had the start and end date of the course, which were you obviously didn't need to change that because that had the same start and end date, same day. So I was just wondering whether that's something you generally have to do. I know I have to do it with other tools. I wasn't sure about this one.
Very good point. So, yeah, you need to be very mindful of that. If you do have an end date and you're taking rolling enrollments, or this is just open and you're continually running groups through, which is what we do here in the Hunter and North Coast. Very rarely do we archive the courses and start from a clone. We just keep them running through the same course unless there's a complete course update. So we don't enable an end date here. So you can, and you can enable that there. That's correct. Okay. Okay, so here's the enrolled users. So I've enrolled myself here as my other account, which is my personal account, and I've enrolled myself as a student. You can also add user to a group just via this enrolled methods here. And if I click on that, there are two groups set up, so I can just put that person in that group, and you can see you can very quickly add a student to a group via that method as well, and you can also take them out as well. Okay, go back to here. So you go to groups, click on create group, enter a group name, access key, save changes, prepare a welcome email, insert the link to the course in the home page, copy and paste access key. So I showed you where the standard email is, and this is a quick reference guide, getting started in your Skills Point Moodle course. This is a document that I created, and I'm hoping that it's updated. But it was for last semester, and it's just a document for the students with instructions on how to complete the unit course assessment guide. First of all, save my choice. So there's just screenshots, start lesson, and then once you get into a lesson, read the unit assessment guide, click on start the lessons. So it's just a little guide that is nice to put to an attachment for a student so that you can assume that they've sort of come into class with like a bit of a flipped classroom model, that one, I guess. And you can monitor what they've actually done in the course. So this is our South Region resource. It's create a group and add users. Click on that link and this is a great quick reference guide to how to create a group, which is click on groups, create a group, put the name in, put the key in, save changes. There you go. So that's just another resource that you can use. Okay, so I'll now stop sharing my screen. There's another couple of resources there that are just additional, but this is just to get you going in your sandpit. Once you've created your activities and you want to have a go at running a course. So I'm going to share another presentation here, and this is just about how to monitor your progress in the course, or how to monitor students in progress. Okay. So in your administration block, you'll see a label or an option called reports. If you click on reports, these are the options that you have. You've got logs. So logs are any activity throughout that course. You can monitor, you can find out exactly where your student has clicked, how much time they've spent on things, and what they've actually done. So if you need those logs to as evidence of participation, that's perfect. And we used to get lots of requests for those logs. You've got an activity report, which I'll show you next. Course participation. So that's the overall course participation of how many times people have logged in and what they've viewed the most. You can set up activity completion and have a look at some stats. This is the activity completion. So when we went through the settings of a document upload last week, we can actually, in the settings, request that this must be viewed to be completed, or it must be, you must upload a document to be completed. But you can see here, there's a list of activities and resources in the course. I'll get my laser pointer again. That's so handy. That's a resource. That's a choice activity. That's a feedback activity. So I can tell because of the icons. And also, if it's a line around this square, it means that they must complete it. If it's a dotted, if it's a dotted line, it must be completed. But if it's a just solid line, it's optional. They can actually tick it themselves. Yeah, I like the laser pointer too. So at a glance, you can see that that particular student has completed those two things, and that one has completed that. And also here down the bottom, you've got the option to export that. So you can export that report, and you've got the participation on the activities that you've set for this grader report. This is the activity report, and I'm really sorry, that is really hard to see. So the activity report, it shows you all the things that you've got. That's a Moodle book and a choice activity. That's in that tab. This in the plan tab. We've got a book and a page and a web link. Sorry, Phil. What is Denise? What is CTL?
Sorry, I was just sorry, gorgeous. I was just putting like the laser pointer thing so you could get on with your presentation.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
was
Oh, you
Sorry,
helped me, did you? Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, so you can see here that this blended model, this is actually a report early on in the piece from this course, and you can see that it's been viewed 90 times by one user, and that was probably me at that stage, because I'm in and out developing things. But so if you've once you develop your course and you run it through, at the end of each semester, at the end of each year, you would go back and you're going to review what you've done, and you're going to decide whether you're going to change it or you like it. So that's that continuous improvement plan. What worked, what didn't, and this sort of gives you some pretty good stats. So if there was, minimal activity here, why is that? And how can we improve that? And I've found that the bakery students, we've had one of the teachers decide to be the coordinator, and she actually now follows up with all of those students because they weren't accessing their resources outside of TAFE, but in the TAS document, they are supposed to be coming to class with some pre-existing knowledge to get on with their practical activities, and they're not knowing, certain things. So that will give you an indication of who's doing what. You can also filter in this report here. This is course participation. So we're looking at one particular activity here. You can filter by the types of actions, the groups, and you can see here that no actions, nothing's been done. So there's lots of different ways you can view participation. This is the grade book. So the grade book, these are the accessible items. So you can put what you need in here, and then you can also click on a report, an export report. And you can then select a user report. So you can click on a particular user here, view the report as myself. So you can view it as somebody else too, by the looks. Choose a particular user, and then you can see what their grade was and what their feedback was. And then you can export that report. So that is really handy for in times of audit, anything you need to extract. This is the progress bar. So the progress bar is in all of the Skills Points products, and they're attached to the assessment progress and also the learner resources if there are learner resources that exist for the Skills Points products. So the progress bar is coloured, and it changes colour when you've completed that activity, so it's really helpful for the student. And they can also click on it, the activity, and it takes them straight to the activity. So if they don't want to sort of stroll through the course resources and the tabs and sort of try and find what they've got to do, you're putting together in a summary all of the critical aspects that they need to look at through the assessment progress bar, and they can click on that directly through there. From a teaching point of view, you get this additional view of the students, which is here, overview of students. When you click on overview of students, you can see the progress bar populates for all of them, and you can see who has logged in, and also with selected users down the bottom here. So you can click on this user, whoever hasn't sort of done a lot, you can click on that person and you can send them a group note. Yeah, sorry Phil, I just used that. Actually, what I'll do, because we do have time, I will show you all the progress bar in the course, in the Moodle course. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so in the Moodle Capability Program, just to let everybody know, all of the North Region EQ team have been given site-wide access to view anything in this platform. So they don't come up as a student in this progress bar. However, if you're from another region, you'll come up as a student. So you can see the activity progress bar. This is my progress that I've done. I can click on overview of students. You can see who's enrolled and who has completed what, or who hasn't. So I don't think Barbara has logged in before. And you can show all 25. So you can, I'm going to send Phil a message. Phil, what am I going to say to Phil? I'm going to send a message. Hi, Phil. How is your progress going? And then I'll send the message. And Phil, can you just let us all know if you get an email? Okay, so that's good. Good for a student, for a teacher. You can filter through the groups. There are all the courses I'm enrolled in. Okay, now we're at a different screen. So I'm just going to click on Overview of Students again. And you can see the progress here. What else can I do? I can add a common note, add a new note. So if there's an assessment coming up, like I can send a new note to say, okay, guys, we're getting towards the end of the course. Let me know if you need any help. I haven't used that before, but it's an option. Okay, so it's very interesting. Now I've got to work out how to get out of here.
Excuse me, Leslie.
Yeah.
Did you say that? Sorry, I just looked away and I might think I missed something. So with add a note, is that I saw how you could send something directly to Phil as a message, and that went to his email. Is that right?
Phil, did that go to your email?
Yes.
But that was the plan. Yeah.
I replied.
Oh, very fast
Okay.
work, Phil.
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look at the reply.
But the note, Leslie, there you go, that's good, was going to everybody, is that right? Is that a bit like, Sakai had something similar, where you could just do a message, like a group message? Is that what the note is?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Cool.
So you can send an email to say, are you having any dramas? Is there anything I can help you with? Just do a check-in. Or you could send a common note to everybody. Just as
assessments due next week or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's great.
Yeah, it is. It's really handy, and
that's via the progress bar, is it? When you click on overview of students, was that right?
Progress bar. Yep, overview of students. So if you're a teacher in the course, you'll get that overview of students.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, great.
Yep. So this is what your teachers will be able to see, and because the new skills point non-editing teacher role is so restricted, it's so locked down now that it's so that you can't change anything in the course, and everybody has the same permission. The progress bar is really handy for the teachers because they can at a glance see what's going on, and they can send a note or just monitor what's happening. Because I don't know if they get access to the groups and the enrolled users. I can't remember just off the top of my head, but yeah, so that's basically it. So I guess now in your sandpits, it's up to everybody. Like, there's not much activity. I've gone through everyone's, and like, I would have put a lot more into this program. I would have, put a lot of bells and whistles into the emails and sort of coached you all individually, but we're just been absolutely hammered with TASs and group coaching and product offerings and things like that. So I'm not, it's that sandpit is there for you for whenever you want to have a play. And please feel free to contact me or even contact the blended delivery support team and get them to walk you through what you can do, and it's really important for us to develop the relationships with the blended delivery support team, and to also get them to sort of loop us in when they're dealing with our sections, so that we can sort of have a greater understanding of what the issues are for our teachers. Yeah, so that'll just stay there. And like I said before, I've just left the next 2 weeks. In the capability program, I do actually have another tab here, and it's called Facilitate. And there are I put a couple of resources there if you wanted to have a look at that. And there is actually another tab under here that I thought I put skills points resources in there, but I thought I better not go there yet, because I know that there are resources being developed for that, and I haven't seen them. It'd be great to actually look at them when they come out. Does anybody else have an update on any development in the skills point area? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So, does anybody have any questions? Because I'm thinking that pretty much concludes the how to set your group up, enrolment, getting access, and sort of monitoring that progress. The MCP, that can just stay there, Susan. I'm not going to shut anyone off. If you want me to have a look at anything, I will look at things. I'll probably go through and just touch base with everybody individually, and thank everyone for participating in this program, and offer any additional support. But there's no expectation to do anything with any of it. Yeah. Okay. So I think that pretty much concludes the session today. No worries.
Yeah, thanks, Leslie. That was really interesting. For Sydney, at this point, we don't have the progress bar in our Moodle, which is a shame, because it's got some it's obviously important for students to see that progress as they're working through things, and those other little features that I didn't know that were available. Anyway, look, I think at some time in the future it will be with us, but not yet.
Karen, have you got skills point products in your Moodle?
Some do, yeah, not with not CPALs that I'm aligned to, but health. Okay. Tracy's working on that. Yeah, health and beauty. I just assumed fitness. That
the plugin was in all of the Moodles that house skills points products. To add a progress bar, you need to make sure that turn editing on is checked, and then down the bottom of the page, all of the blocks that are available in your learner management system come up here. So we'll look for a progress bar. So I've just added another progress bar. If I go right down,
we'll give that a go. I didn't even know it was an option. Yep. Tracy's just testing that, live testing, Leslie. It's very exciting.
And then you can configure the progress bar here. I'm glad you mentioned that. Alternate title, test progress bar. You can use these icons if you want. Yep. You can have an expected date. So below.
Sorry, Leslie, can I interrupt for a second? Where did you go? So I've turned my editing on.
And you go down to the bottom of your page.
Yep.
On the right-hand side, or if your progress, are you in iTAFE? Or
no,
are you in your...
No, I'm in Sydney Moodle. I just wanted to see if we could use it from here.
Turn editing on. Are your blocks on the left-hand side or the right-hand side?
Right-hand side.
So go down to the bottom and see if you've got that option to add a block.
Add a block. I don't think we do.
I don't think you.
I think they've taken that away from us.
Yeah, I would inquire.
Yeah. I think I've seen it before, but I have seen it before, but it doesn't look like it's there.
Okay.
I think they've turned off a lot of blocks.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll follow that up.
Yep. So to configure your progress bar, you just add in all the things that you want to
Okay,
monitor your progress on,
great.
and then
Hang
Isn't that
around.
awesome?
We put
Yeah.
a request in for this.
yeah,
Let's see what happens. Can
Quick
only
save.
ask.
That's right.
And there. So there are all the things that I just randomly quickly checked.
Hey, Leslie, it's Denise. I was just wondering if you're able to
You're going to
send a
put a help
link
desk in?
through to that Moodle site. I still wasn't able to get in.
Oh, which one, Denise?
This one, yeah, the Moodle
Oh.
yeah.
Are you a user? I mean, yeah, of iTafe. Have you got an account?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay. So I sent a welcome email.
Yeah, I was
And
just
that
looking
didn't
back
work.
through my emails.
I can resend that.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you so much.
That's
Thanks,
okay.
Leslie.
No worries. Thanks, everybody, for all your contributions and support.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.
You too. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you, Leslie. It's been
Bye.
amazing. And I've got a bit more work to do on my site, but just time is not my friend right now. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Gonna
Completely
get
Thank you.
Yeah.
No
awesome.
worries.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Okay,
Bye.
bye.